Hello, beautiful people. This is Gine and it's Gine's Signatures once again. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so today I'll be making this beautiful danshiki kimono shift dress or whatever you call it. It's beautiful. I'd like to sit back, relax, and let's ride along. Enjoy the tutorial, and please don't forget if what you want to subscribe. Yeah, let's get into it. So I have my fabrics folded on the table, both for the front and the back. So I'm going to be cutting them together. I'm ruling out the starting point. That's the selvage because I'm going to be cutting it off. And then the length of my gown, I'm going to be getting the length of my gown. The length of the gown is 42 and I added 1.5 inches and it's 43.5. The next thing is I'm going to be getting my neck width. Neck width is 4 inches, and for the depth, for the back depth, I made it 2 inches. And then at the edge of the clothes, I came down for the shoulder slope. I came down by 1.5 inches, and then I connected it to the neckline. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is to be getting our round sleeve, because this is a cut together, and I'm going to be making use of 12 inches. I'm going to be folding 2 inches in, so that is why it's like that. So I'm going to be getting my half length to get my waist measurement. I don't need a bust measurement because it will be more than enough. The width of that place is more than enough for the bust, to accommodate the bust. And then I'm getting the shoulder to hip too, so I'm marking it right there, and I'm going to be ruling a straight line. Now that I've gotten my waist and my hip, I'm going to be measuring it and dividing my waist by 4. And I'll add 5 inches extra, sewing allowance inclusive. I'm going to divide my waist by 4 and add 5 inches extra. This is a bogus dress, it's not going to be tight fitted, so but it will have a little shape, so that's why I'm inputting the waist and the hip measurements. If I didn't want the waist and the hip measurement to be there, I'll just run it from that round sleeve down to the hem of the clothes, but this one will kind of have a little shape. And so I'm adding 5 inches extra. And then on the hip, I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4, and then I'm going to be adding that 5 inches as well. Sorry, I was trying to teach some of my students, that's why it was a bit taking time. Yeah. So I'm going to be connecting my waist to my hip, and then from the hip to the hem, you're going to take whatever you have total of what is there down to the hem of the cloth. For some people, they would want it slimmer at the end, so if you wish for that, you can remove 2 inches or 1.5 inches, and then you mark whatever you want. But for this, I just want the same thing that was in the hip to the length of the cloth, and so I'm connecting. And now, to connect from the round sleeve to the waistline, you need to draw a curve to meet the waistline. I used the don't mind my student, she was trying to mimic what I was doing. So she totally forgot I was recording. Sorry about that. So I tried using this pattern master, but I didn't really like what it gave me, so I later used my hand to carve out what I wanted. You see, it's not fine. I didn't like the way it came out, so I'm going to try to use my hand again to get a beautiful curve. So that's it. I'm trying to carve out. Yes, yes, this is more like it. So please disregard the first one. I'm going for the second one that I used my hand for. So now I'm going to be cutting it out. We're through with the back piece, and then we'll go over to the front piece. So I'm cutting out the neckline for the back. Please note, I'm not cutting the front neckline now. I didn't know the camera was not capturing that. So then I'm cutting the shoulder slope. And then I'll go to the length of the cloth. I'm going to be cutting out the remaining. And then I'll cut the sides. And yes, I'm true. This shape is really given. So by the time I fold in my sleeve allowances, this is how it will be. So don't think it's odd looking. Yeah. So I'm going to be nudging my waist because that's where I'll be fixing my pockets, because it's going to be having pockets. So I'm going to be removing the back piece, and then I'll be working on the front piece. So I'm trying to get the neck width for the it must be the same thing, 4 inches. I'd already used the scissors to nudge it, but just to reaffirm, that's why I'm marking it. Let me just open it for you to see the way it looks. This is how it looks. And this is the plain material that I'm going to be using to cut out a pattern for the front. So what I'm going to be doing now first is to cut out the neckline. I'm going to fold back. I'm going to cut out the neckline and then show you what to do next. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is going to be a v-neck. So I'm going to be coming down by 7 or 8 inches as you wish. But I came down by 7 inches and then I slanted it with my pattern master. So I'm cutting it out. And so this is how it looks. So I'm going to be bringing back my plain fabric that I had already ironed a gum stay or a paper stay. So I'm going to be cutting out my pattern on it. You can go for any pattern of your choice or any design of your choice. Like this one now, I just created it offhand. You can do any pattern of your choice. So I'm going to be placing it under the fabric so that I'll get the necklines, so that it will be easy for me to trace out and manipulate however I want it to be. If you like, you can use a pin or pins to hold it in place before marking out, but I'm quite comfortable the way it is, so that is why I didn't use any pin. So I'm just going to draw out the V neckline like so. Just take your time. Mark down the shoulder slants. And then I'll remove the fabric. And then I'm cutting it out. And so here, that is what we have now. But that side is too long, so I want to reduce it. So I marked from that point, I marked 6 inches. And I'm going to be cutting the remaining off. And so in order to get that point, I don't want to leave it straight like that. I'm going to be curving it somehow. So I'm going to be getting the midpoint of that. The midpoint was 10 inches. I marked it. And then I came to the other side. I got the midpoint as well. I marked it. I want to use the white chalk because it will clear off easily than the blue chalk. So I'm going to be connecting it from that to that other point like so. And then I'm going to come to this other side and then I'll connect it to meet that side too. You can just be creative. Just try to explore. Try whatever design you get. If it's okay, you go for it. It does not necessarily have to be what is trendy that you must make. I think I always say that in my videos. I like exploring, I like trying out new things, so that is it, yeah. Yeah, and it came out beautiful, so this is the pattern I'm going to be placing on the front of the clothes. So I'm going to be the edges of the pattern, I'm going to be folding them in by half an inch so that it will be easy to sew it on the clothes. But before that, I'm going to be sewing the neckline. I'm going to be placing it under the clothes. Then I'll run a stitch, nudge it, and then flip it over. I'm going to show you right about now. So that is how I'm going to be placing it on the machine, like so. I'm going to be placing it like so, and I'm going to be running half or a quarter of an inch like V, like that, and then flip it over so that it will lay flat. By that time I would have ironed the edges of the pattern so that it will be easy for me to sew. And please always use a matching thread. Not that you are using this one, this color, and you go and use black thread. No, you must use a matching color because the seams are not supposed to be visible. So I'm going to come back and show you later how it looks. But before that, I just decided to just show this part of how to cut pockets. You really don't need much measurements. What I have there, I just have 10 by 10. Yeah, it's just 10 by 10. I folded into 4 because I'm cutting the two sides together. So at that point I marked 8 inches. 8 inches is okay. And then you can just freehand, just draw something, and then you bring it and meet that 8 inches, and that is it. There's nothing so much difficult about cutting a pocket. And so that's it. It's quite easy. I was just trying to adjust. So I discovered that some were not laying very well while cutting it, so I had some extra things there, so that's what I'm trying to adjust. Okay, and so that's our pocket. So I'm going to come back to show you how I've done. So here it is. I've gone ahead to sew the neckline and then flip it over like I showed you earlier, and I used matching thread. I've already ironed those ones. I've ironed the half inch on the seam so before sewing it, so it was very easy for me to do. So I went ahead and sewed it on the clothes, and for the back I cut out a facing and I joined it, and I used a bias band to finish the edges. Later I'm going to be using my hemming gum to gum it to the back so that it will not be flipping anyhow. So right about now, the next thing to do is to just take it to my sewing machine again and then run a stitch across the shoulder, half an inch on both sides, and then I'm going to be hemming the sleeves. Yes, I'm going to be hemming it with 2 inches, 1 inch, 1 inch twice, and then for the body I'm going to be running 1 inch from the shoulders, from under the round sleeve down to the hem of the cloth. Now this is how it looks. I've already done it. I don't want this video to be too lengthy because it's already lengthy as it is. So this is how it came out. It's very beautiful. I've given it a very good press. That's the side pocket, that's the folded length. Everything is looking beautiful. It came out so fine and so neat. So this is how beautiful it looks. Yeah, this is the back. Everything is laying flat and neat. So if you feel this is video has made you what you want and you liked it, please kindly give a thumbs up, share, and please kindly subscribe. I'm going to head over to my mannequin and I'm going to be showing you how it looks right about now. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe again. Bye. Thank you.